Yes, we've been following this gymnastics bunch for many years, and when they're on the floor competing as they will today, they are indeed a family. It's the 1999 Reese's Cup. We're in the Wells Fargo Arena on the campus of Arizona State University. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Trowig with my gymnastics pals. Once again, gold medalist Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegan. As long as we're playing TV pop culture for 100, how about Monty Python's Flying Circus, and now for something completely different? What's this going to be about?
Al, this is not your typical gymnastic competition. In fact, we have 3 men's teams competing here, 3 women's teams. The emphasis is on entertainment. They perform 2 routines each. They've all been told the same thing prior to coming to Arizona. Be creative and be original.
Yeah, we'll see what they come up with. Meanwhile, the level of gymnastics could be pretty high. Some of the best gymnasts that we have in this country. 2 that perhaps are a little bit more intriguing as everyone looks ahead to Sydney.
Well, you know, Al, this is more than just show. We have some of the top athletes from the USA, starting out with Blaine Wilson. He is the current 3-time national all-around champion, recovering from shoulder surgery. He's using this competition as a stepping stone for the next competitive season. And then there is Vanessa Atler, who could very well be the most powerful, dynamic athlete I've ever seen walk on a gymnastics floor. She'll show us a little bit of that in just a minute.
Now, there still is one other gymnast who will be in the building, though not competing. Still, she brings a very compelling story here to Tempe, Arizona. And for more on that, across the floor we go to Beth Ruyak. Beth?
Thanks, Al. You're talking, of course, about Dominique Moceanu. Most people know that over the last few months, she's been involved in a difficult court fight with her family so that she could gain her own legal and physical separation from them. She hasn't been in the gym since October 17th. We talked to her about that earlier, and you'll hear more of the conversation. But for now, I will tell you that actually being in the arena has put a big smile on her face, and I would suspect it's going to give her some important inspiration as she still looks ahead to that team in Sydney in the year 2000.
Elfie. See, that's the problem. We're going to be humming this song all day here at the Wells Fargo Arena. It's time to meet the teams now. Let's let them do it themselves.
I'm Blaine Wilson. And I'm Chris Waller. And together, we're the Gym Jammers. Oh.
Wow!
Get us out of here!
I'm Jason Gatson.
And I'm Cheney Humphrey.
And we are
The Big Hit. Come on, we are filming.
I'm John McCriedy.
And I'm Kip Simons.
And we're the Devils.
I'm Kim Zmeskal. And I'm Christy Phillips. And we're the Hershey Kisses. The Human Spring, Kim Zmeskal. That's Christy Phillips. Yeah! I'm Amanda Bordon. And I'm Amy Chow. And we're the Arizona All-American A's. Amy and I really don't like each other, so this is difficult for us. Wait. Oh, shucks. Yes! Are we done? Okay. I'm Vanessa Atler. And I'm JC Phelps. And we're the Buttercups.
Please welcome our first competitor tonight, Kip Simons.
Well, we'll see what Kip has come up with. Remember, the gymnasts have been challenged to come up with music and choreograph as best they can, and Kip's had a lot of theatrical experience recently because gymnastics has led him to be a performer on cruise ships as they cruise around and have performances and plays and musicals and stuff like that for the passengers. It's a unique job.
I asked him, so what's with the hat? And he goes, well, this is Lenny Kravitz, and it's kind of Lenny Kravitz-esque.
And it's titled, Are You Going to Go My Way? And I guess the big question is, will the judges go his way?
This was actually Kip's best event as a competitive athlete. Very, very strong upper body, very important on the still rings. Rock solid handstand. Do the big dismount, double layout.
Seems like he liked that a lot. A member of the 5th place American team from the 96 Centennial Games. Time now to meet the judges. James Avery from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Stephen Root from NBC's News Radio. Former star of Dallas and Knots Landing. A huge sports fan, Joan Van Ark. At one time a Dallas Cowboy quarterback. Now he coaches the arena football team here in Phoenix. Danny White. Sean Young from Ace Ventura Pet Detective lives in nearby Sedona. And the teenage recording artist Maya. We will talk about her collusion with Blaine Wilson later. She also performed for the crowd here. Time now to see what the judges think, guys. Why don't we analyze their first decision?
Well, actually, we have to remember what the judges are looking for here, Al, because it's not just about the difficulty. They're looking, again, for creativity, originality, as I mentioned off the top of the show. Audience appeal is huge, and showmanship. Those are the other areas.
Got to remember, though, it's just like a competition at the international level. These judges, they got to get warmed up. They're probably going to be a little tight in the beginning.
Please welcome.
And where's John McCriedy taking us here? What planet?
Well, you might think he's starting on the floor exercise. Listen, he really gets into these routines. He's very creative, has put a lot of thought into his exercise.
That was great.
Great audience appeal.
Father's a producer, mother's an actress, his grandfather was an actor, so obviously showbiz in the blood.
Yeah, he says he wants to be an actor. He says this is a tremendous opportunity for him. He gets to show off this side and do what he wants to be, which is an actor. But he can also be a gymnast. And baby, this is one of his biggest events. We're not just talking show, as we said earlier. This is some big-time gymnastics. Right here. Release. Oh! He's not done. Spotlights. Check this baby out.
Oh, yeah. We said it's about showmanship, entertainment, but he has the difficulty as well.
Beautiful. That boy can swing some pipe, no doubt about it.
That was well choreographed.
Hey, he deserves a lot of
great.
credit for taking the time to make that thing work.
Kip likes it too.
You know, Johnny says that the performance aspect of the sport is his favorite part of gymnastics, but don't let him fool you. He can also do the big stuff. Look at this Kovacs. Unbelievable, all in spotlights. That's crazy stuff.
Good start for these two, and they get the audience involved right in the beginning, and that's something they encourage here in the Reese's Cup.
9.9.
And now let's check and see. Joan Van Ark with a 10.
And
Sean Young with a 10.
For an average score.
And there you have it. That's a pretty high bar set by these two. NBC Sports coverage of the 1999 Reese's Cup continues in a moment. At the Wells Fargo Arena on the campus of Arizona State, this is the Reese's Cup, and it's sort of a, well, it's like your local talent show. Some of it works, some of it won't. Here's Amy Chow. Amy, of course, one of the Magnificent Seven in '96. She's a brainiac, pre-med at Stanford, and an athlete to boot. Quite a combination.
Well, Al, before I chatted with her, she was studying physics and in the warm-up, and she said, oh yeah, I'm ready for this, no problem. I've done it too many times, so.
Put the physics book down and ran down and did a pike full in on floor. You were a little like that, weren't you, Alfie?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not meant to play this part. Now I see
Something that's amazing about Amy Chow is since the 96 Olympics, she has been able to maintain her level of gymnastics, which is quite amazing. She's actually contemplating a comeback. We're not quite sure. She's not sure where it will go, but she's hoping that Sydney might be in the picture.
That would make the American team instantly better.
Yeah, absolutely no question about that. There have been rumors since the Magnificent Seven that many of them were coming back, but this is a young lady that has all the tools and could almost instantly, in some cases on even bars, not even change too much and still be competitive on an international level.
Sharp. She deserves points for just figuring out how to do the mount with a fan in her hand. San Jose, California's Amy Chow.
You know, guys, it was simply amazing to watch her come into this event so relaxed, so confident. Here's a perfect example of Amy Chow's talent. That skill alone is so difficult. Remember, she's only training 1 day a week at this point.
9.9.
Again, the gymnasts have been asked to use music and be theatrical, original, creative. 9.9s and 9.7. Sean Young, very tough. Average score of 9.75 for Amy Chow. Another member of the Magnificent Seven, representing Arizona State now, is Amanda Bordon. And this should get the crowd even more involved than it has been.
Bars, please welcome Amanda Bordon.
You know, Amanda told me she was at an ASU Notre Dame football game. She was so proud to be a student at ASU. The whole college experience, she said, why not the ASU fight song?
Amanda actually retired back in May, and she decided to come back for this event when she heard that it was rolling into ASU. She wanted to do it for her school.
Also has the opportunity to do it along with one of her teammates, JC Phelps. They've been inseparable, both preparing for Atlanta and now very, very close friends for life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Bordon.
Well, she was still performing some pretty difficult skills on this event, but this may very well be the last time we ever see Amanda Bordon again on a gymnastic floor.
See how the judges viewed it.
Yeah.
The scores for Amanda Bordon, 9.9.
Mr. Avery liked it. So did Mr. Root.
9.9.
Joan.
10.
10. You know, I tell you, it's not an international competition, but being a gymnast, it's what you go for your whole life. That brings a smile to her face, no doubt.
Arizona's All-American A's of a 19.7.
We brought up Amanda's relationship with JC Phelps. Let's go with them on campus. They are both Sun Devils at heart.
Nervous for the meet? Right now I think I'm just excited. I'll be a little nervous when it starts, just because I haven't been able to train that much. How's your knee doing? It's doing pretty good. I mean, I still can't do a lot of stuff, landings, but it's doing pretty good for the most part. Getting old. Yeah, it's so hard. Your ankles, back. Hanging in there. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of to the point where I think this might be the last one, so yeah, just hanging in there. My Achilles are really sore, but I don't know, just gotta get through this meet, and then I don't know, we'll see. Right now I'm ready to take a break. Yeah, need some time to just be normal, be a student. I don't know, we'll see if I don't know if I want to do gymnastics anymore or not, so I still love it, but the body's getting old. Oh, find your calendar. Get a shot of this, okay, because I'm on the calendar. Or all that's me and you.
What's that? Oh, Reese's
Remember
Cup
that
last
stuff?
year. Oh my, that was the beginning of the tour.
Every Wednesday we go out to lunch and shop and really try to see each other at least once a week because our schedules are so different. Being out here, you'd think that we would see more of each other than we do, but our schedules are so different. But we're both enjoying what we're doing, and I mean, we make time to see each other, so. I think it's been really good for us because we're at a point in our life when we're like trying to move on, and you know, we're not Olympic gymnasts anymore. We're students and coaches, and even though we still do gymnastics, you know, we're at a point in our lives where we're trying to move on, and it's good to still have a part of our old life too. And I know that there's times when, you know, I miss Cincinnati and I miss training and I miss all those kind of things, and just to have JC here makes it a lot easier for me, you know, trying to move on and become a normal person.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Gym Jammers. Please welcome Blaine Wilson.
The Reese's Cup continues here in Tempe, Arizona. Now, Blaine Wilson is one of those who is still thinking about World Championships and the Olympics, so he'll play some music, but basically, Tim, he's just doing his normal routine, right?
Yeah, he really is. You know, he likes to say that he really is not that into it. Blaine likes to have fun just like anybody else, but he is definitely business first. Remember, Blaine is recovering from that shoulder surgery, and it's really remarkable that he's dealing with it so well. You know, the doctors, they always talk about it's really no problem. You're going to go in, we're going to take care of it. Everything will be fine. But whenever you go under the knife, there is just never a guarantee that it's going to work out. It has for Blaine. You know, I'm just remembering here, Al. Blaine started our show off with our Brady Bunch theme in the middle. Wasn't that Alice's spot?
That would be Alice's spot, yes.
I think there's a little bit of resemblance there. He might look a little bit like Alice's brother.
Okay, in my mind, he hit one of the 4 categories. I'm going to have a serious talk with Blaine after this. He needs to work on his music and his costume. I'm going to help him for next year.
But like we said, all business for Blaine. This is a slight modification of what he does in actual competition, a combination tumbling pass. No frills, though.
Go Buckeyes.
Overall, though, go Buckeyes out of Ohio State, Blaine Wilson. This is good news to see him this fit for the American gymnastic future. I mean, world championships and such. We got a perfect 10 from Danny White, a guy who knows about athletics. A 9.9 average for Blaine Wilson. And it just hit me. He was named for Blaine Nye, a former Dallas Cowboy. That's what Danny White is. That's why he got the 10.
It all works together.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't perfect. All right, here's Chris Waller, former U.S. Olympian, now living in Los Angeles.
Great showmanship. He definitely has audience appeal. Remember, Chris won the last 2 years, but his partner was Cheney Humphrey at the time.
Nobody else here, baby. No one here to blame. No one to point the finger. It's just you.
Chris tells me that this is his interpretation of the movie City of Angels.
And if God will send a sign, and if God will send
Say, physically, he's still cut.
It's really remarkable. 30 years old, and he's doing gymnastics at this level.
He also says it's a lot of fun to stay in shape for events like this, the opportunity to make a little money. He said, why not?
His teammate watching.
Movie is about angels. This is the angel fall, according to Chris.
In an international gymnastic event, that would be a 5/10 deduction, but not here.
What about switching apparatus in the middle of it?
Yeah. All allowed.
Now that may look like it's choreographed, but 30 years old, I know Chris well. He just fell to the floor in exhaustion.
There's his wife Cindy and daughter Alex.
Cindy actually expecting their second child.
And you know, this is supposed to be fun, but once you get competitive, which these people are, anytime you're in a situation that you can win, you go to win, right?
Chris wants to win.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It is a lot of fun, but
9.8, 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, and 9.8 for an average score of 9.85.
All right.
And a team score of 19.8 for the Gym Jammers.
There you go. We've got the Gym Jammers, and we've got another team coming up that I'm just going to call the Veterans. That would be Christy Phillips and Kim Zmeskal. A familiar face.
And now for the Hershey Kisses.
Here at the Wells
And
Fargo
balance
Arena
game,
as the
please
Reese's
welcome
Cup continues in
Kim
Tempe.
Zmeskal.
They still remember Kim from the 1992 Olympics. Still taking it one day at a time, 6 years removed from international competition, earning a place on the U.S. team with her performance at the recent Nationals.
Kim's really turned into quite the professional performer. She chose this piece from the movie Armageddon because it was pretty and yet powerful. And she said, people are used to seeing me do such perky routines. I really wanted to change my style and do something just a little different.
Watch you smile while you are sleeping, while you're far away and dreaming. I could spend my life in this sweet surrender.
Always strikes me as funny. You're watching a movie about the potential end of the planet as we know it, and you think, hey, gymnastic routine.
you know, Al, I hope they remember this young lady because back in 1991, she brought American gymnastics to an entirely different level, being the first ever world all-around champion. She is truly a legend.
And absolutely loves performing, and that's why she's back today.
And do we have a story to tell you about Kim's romantic life? And I mean romantic. She's engaged to be married, but in a way that few of us have ever been inspired to pull it off. Look good up there.
Hard to believe she just had surgery back in September to remove some bone spurs and clean out a knee. She's back, full strength.
Let's get to the fun news because Elfie,
she's in love.
As a result, she is
engaged.
She's got a ring on her finger. And you know what? Pretty soon, Kim Zmeskal is going to be
Going to the chapel and we're
Which news? Currently, Kim's life is exciting because of the new events in her personal life, which is she got engaged over Thanksgiving by a knight in shining armor. It was quite the ordeal.
Meet Chris Burdett, romantic. You see, they had a horse-drawn carriage at a weekend getaway in West Virginia, and then he played the role of, knight in shining armor.
This guy was standing on the side of this sidewalk in this suit of armor, and he gave me a ring, so I said I'd marry him.
You have to love the creativity of Chris Burdett, right? Elfie, you would have said yes.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's check out the scores now for Kim Zmeskal.
The scores for Kim Zmeskal are 9.8, 9.7, 9.8, 9.8, 9.9, and 9.7 for an average score of 9.775.
There you go, a 9.775 for the fiance. Now it's Christy Phillips, who hasn't competed internationally for a decade, yet she still comes back to the Reese's Cup every year.
For another Hershey Kiss, please welcome Christy Phillips.
A slightly different style here, Al. Christy has a tendency at these events to be maybe just a little bit dark.
No, Tim, this is not a little bit dark. This music is from one of the most violent war scenes ever filmed from Full Metal Jacket. I miss the inspiration.
With the dark side, a little Marilyn Manson here. Beautiful people. Christy tells me this is a flashback to a better place and a better time.
Well, as you mentioned, Al, she comes back to the Reese's Cup time and time again. This is actually her third appearance. Really getting into the theatrics. Christy likes to do something that's just a little bit different, but the tumbling here, have to mention for a woman her age, this is pretty tough stuff.
Love you too!
The scores for Christy, 9.6.
See how it worked for the judges.
9.6, 9.6. 9.8,
sort of medium.
9.4,
Danny White liked it. Now Sean Young, I mean, they said you're not supposed to go below 9.5. She's just
making a statement.
Yep. That's Christy and Kim Zmeskal. Well, you can see it's going to be a unique beginning for UCLA's Cheney Humphrey, part of the 1996 Atlanta American team.
Please welcome Cheney
This guy's day, I mean, he's got a lot going on. Classes start at 8, they go to 7. On the way to training, he maybe grabs a snack. He works out from 7:30 to 9:30, goes back to his apartment, takes a nap, wakes up at 11, studies until 4, goes back to bed, gets up at 7, and it all starts again.
Oh, what fun.
Now here he goes.
I'll tell you, you can always count on Cheney Humphrey to get the audience pumped up.
What's the theme, Cheney? He says a celebration, a gymnastics celebration. He can do a little more than dance.
He's working on 2 novels.
He's got a lot on his plate, that's for sure. But Cheney can swing high bar. He world championship finalist on this event. And this is what he does best.
And this is what the audience loves.
I think you have a suit like this, don't you, Al?
2, actually, Tim.
Double layout. Cheney Humphrey.
Oh, he gets into it. He loves it.
I don't know how he found time to prepare that routine, but he did.
Yeah, you know, talking about the time, Cheney says what he likes most in life is being able to look back at his career and saying that he really pushed himself. Well, push himself into the air and do 2 flips in a laid-out position.
Mr. Pre-Med would figure to do well with the judges here.
For Cheney, 10.
Yes!
9.9, 10.
Tim, as you said, any gymnast on any day loves to hear that word 10.
You get a little bit of a chill.
I'll tell you what, Sean Young, a very discriminating judge today.
I'm going to pass her the gymnastic book.
Time now for a guy who's thinking about Sydney in the year 2000. That would be Jason Gatson, one of the good buddies of Blaine Wilson.
Come on, Gatson!
Talk about extremes in personalities and showmanship. I think what you're going to see from Jason is his regular gymnastic routine. Cheney was all showmanship, so Jason's going to go for the serious stuff.
Yeah, he was supposed to wear a pretty wild costume as well.
And he opted not to.
They were trying to talk him into it.
He wimped out.
Well, he's a young guy.
This is his first Reese.
Yeah.
First time he's ever been part of a professional gymnastic show. So I asked him, what do you think he can expect? And he goes, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, he has got the goods gymnastically. Tremendous young talent.
And his goal for this year is to beat Blaine Wilson. Did you hear that, Blaine?
Watch this. That's big gymnastics right there.
I think overall we've seen some pretty high-level stuff here.
No, this is great. Great routine. This is a guy we'll get to know, no question about it.
Youngest man to ever make the U.S. team at the age of 18 at the recent U.S. Nationals, Jason Gatson.
But you know, one area Jason's been a little weak on is the physical strength on rings, but he has never had a problem with the swing elements. Look at these, 2 right in a row, right to a swing to a handstand. Tough stuff.
The scores for Jason Gatson, 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8, 10, and 9.8.
Sean Young, man, she's all over the map. Total of 9.85 for Jason Gatson. Again, still another routine to come. And as we continue, it's time for the Buttercups. J.C. Phelps, Vanessa Atler. We are experiencing the 1999 Reese's Gymnastics Cup and some gorgeous weather in the Valley of the Sun. And as we continue on the campus of Arizona State, time for Vanessa Atler. Just 4 days ago, she fractured a finger in her hand while training on the balance beam. Here's more.
I was working on a routine for this competition for Reese's, and I was on my last dismount, and I was going to be done right after I finished, and Beth wanted me to show Steve the routine, and so he came out and watched, and I was almost done, and I was ready to do my dismount, and I went to do my back handspring, and I hit it like that, and it just went, and it was totally like that. So I was like freaking out when I saw it, and I'm like, I broke my finger, and he's all, what? And I'm like, I broke my finger. So he saw it, and he's like, oh my gosh, and he's all worried, and he was going to try to pop it back in, but he decided not to because he didn't know.
That would be Beth and Steve Rybacki, her 2 coaches in Southern California.
Please welcome at the balance beam.
Vanessa has an absolutely enchanting personality, and we've mentioned it before. If she captivates your imagination, go to her website where she, every couple of weeks, reveals her inner thoughts.
And you know, she said she thinks older when she sits down and writes at her computer than when she talks. So really a good opportunity for her to express herself. She says she learns about herself.
Well, her writing will captivate you, but her gymnastics will as well. This is a very mature look for Vanessa.
You know, Elfie, I mean, I've been watching her with you guys now for the last year and a half, and we've seen the development of those little extra things that the real pros do. You know, the fingertip extension, the toe point, the extra punctuation marks on good gymnastics?
Well, she belongs in this arena. She's still in the amateur world, but she is very comfortable, very much at home with this group of professionals. She has come prepared. And like Blaine Wilson, she's getting ready for a very important season ahead.
Including the World Championships in China. On her website, Vanessa said one of the things she's uncovered in the past few months is a well-founded fear. She said, as good as any other gymnast is in the world, they have stuff to fear too. It has helped me get rid of mine.
Yeah, there have never been any doubts about her physical abilities in the sport. You hear her say it over and over again. Maybe never a better athlete to do gymnastics. But she also can be tough mentally.
I have to say, she's done a great job here. She tied in the mount to the dismount. It was to the music. It was choreographed.
Vanessa Atler.
By her coach, Beth Rybecki.
J.C. Phelps. You want to hear an amazing medical story, you'll hear one about J.C. Phelps. But first, the scores of Vanessa Atler.
Come on, JC.
The scores for Vanessa. 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 10, and 9.9.
Hey, Sean appreciates great gymnastics.
Yep, there's that word again. 9.9 average for Vanessa Atler. She's got that cast on her finger. Now, here's the deal with J.C. Phelps. During Atlanta, she was competing in extreme pain. Eventually, after the games were over, she decided to have things checked out. Doctors discovered that her meniscus, which is the cartilage preventing the two leg bones from rubbing together, was almost completely gone. Plus, her knee had developed a severe case of arthritis. Dominique Moceanu was on that team, so she knew what was going on. And we'll hear from her in a little while. So the doctors decided that at the age of 18, J.C. Phelps needed a knee replacement. But they only last 10 to 15 years, so at her age it wasn't a good idea. So she found the right doctor, one of the few in the world, who recreated a meniscus cartilage for her and replaced it. And this is evidence that this dramatically radical surgery has worked for her. Unbelievable, right, guys?
Absolutely incredible. She's been out about a year. She just has been given clearance to start doing mild pounding things on her leg. It is important to note, though, that she won't return to high-level international competition, but she's such a tremendous talent.
But she just flew off the bar and landed on it's unbelievable.
It is remarkable.
So a good story for JC. She can live a full life and not have to worry about another knee replacement. Dominique supporting from the side. There's Kim Zmeskal with her. You see that big smile on Dominique's face? She'll explain that later.
And Tim, we remember back in '96, the beautiful lines. This was one of her best events.
The scores for J.C. Phelps.
It was a very short routine on the bars, but I mean, she's here. She lives here, as we saw her brand new, beautiful home.
And 9.7 for an average
planning to attend school in the fall.
And a team score of 19.6 for the Buttercups.
19.6 of the Buttercups. As we continue here on NBC from Tempe, Arizona, Beth Ruyak sits down to hear the amazing story and transformation in the life of Dominique Moceanu. Dominique Moceanu has made millions. Her father used much of it to build a huge gym in Houston. Last year, police say he put out a contract on the life of Dominique's coach and fired her. She went to court, was declared an adult, virtually divorcing from her parents. Here's Beth Ruyak with more.
How much did you really plan the separation from your parents and the change in your life? And how much did it just happen by one circumstance after another?
I planned to like a year ago with Kurt Thomas at one point, but I didn't give it much. I mean, I gave it thought here and there, but I never thought I'd go through with it till a little later. When the time was right, I said I'd go through with it. I mean, I thought about it a lot, and I was like, I know it's going to be a big scandal. I know people are going to start talking. What's going to happen? How am I going to do it? You know, I just need to wait for the right time. And then all of a sudden this happened, and I just had to do it. You know, I had really no choice.
What was the this happened that made you know I had to do it now?
Well, first of all, I've been thinking about it for a while, and then Lumi got fired, and then he said, she's not even allowed to see you, this and that. Either you quit gymnastics or find another coach. You go back home and this and that. And I was like, well, my life from here on out is not going to be the same, and I'm not going to have a life. And what am I going to do when I turn 18? Am I still going to ask for money when I go to college? Am I still going to have to, you know, be living at home under control, you guys controlling everything I earn and my life and my future and where I go, what I do? And, you know, it was just hard for me.
How much was this about money, about your money?
It's nothing. I mean, I didn't get any money out of all this. What did I get? You know, a big headache and media and everybody just talking about it, and, you know, I didn't get anything. I could have sued him for the gym, I could have sued him for the money, but I didn't.
Do you know if there's money left?
Oh, there's nothing left in the trust. It's all gone in the gym, so there's nothing there, so.
Tell me about going through all those steps with the courtroom, the different hearings and different discussions with the attorneys. Did you think about turning back? Did you question your decisions?
A lot of times I would question myself because of all the media and all the people criticizing me and talking about this and that and the other, and I just felt like, you know, I did this for my own good, and everybody's criticizing and people are talking, and I expected it, but then it got way out of hand, and I was like, I didn't do anything wrong, you know? Why is everybody blaming me? But I got over it, and I did question myself here and there, but then I was like, no, I'm doing the right thing. I gotta be strong, I gotta keep going forward, no matter how bad it got, no matter how tormented and how, you know, how many days I spent up crying at night just thinking about it and hearing what other people say, and they don't really realize what they're saying hurts you. It was tough.
He is prohibited from communicating a threat through any person or by any means to Dominique Helena Moceanu, and from communicating in any manner with Dominique Helena Moceanu.
Is the most painful part behind you now?
I think so. There's still, you know, a hole in my heart from what happened. There's still going to be something left there that it's going to hurt me for a while, but I got to leave everything behind and focus on my future, because if I dwell on it, it's just going to make me sad and upset.
Do you talk to your family now? Do you talk to your mother? Is there any contact at all with your father, even through attorneys?
No, there's no contact really with my father. I talk to my mom, my sister, and, you know, my mom's side of the family a little bit, and we try to keep it like that. And I heard that my father's side of the family are talking a little bit about, you know, how they think I'm going to come crawling back, and I'm going to run out of money, and I'm going to come crawling back to my dad, and I'm going to ask for his help again, and, you know, I'm going to be a low life, and I'm not going to do anything with my life, and I'm not going to be successful, and anything I do is just, I'm like the lowest person now for them. I'm like the scum, and it's just like, thanks a lot, you know. I don't know. It hurt for a while. It still does, but I gotta just put it all behind me.
Do you believe that your father talked to someone about a contract on Luminita's life?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Then she believes it too?
Yeah. I mean, the police wouldn't come to me if it wasn't real, and they wouldn't be wasting their time with something stupid.
For a lot of people, that was one of the most shocking details of all of this.
Yeah, that was shocking, but it's just like, you know, you don't understand, but why would the police come to you? What would you have done? You know, what would your reaction have been? You know? And they said they were 24 hours from catching him, but they didn't have the payoff, they didn't have the money, and this is me talking to the police, right? And, you know, they said, sorry, you know, we believe they're in danger, and go protect yourselves. We can't do anything about it. It's hard to prove a conspiracy, so.
It's your father. Did you think your father could do something like this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, it's so hard. I mean, yeah, I do, but deep down I know he'd regret what he did, and, you know, because, see, in the courtroom, they gave the tapes and they gave the transcript of what was on the tapes, and the judge went into his chamber and he read it, and then I think that's what clinched the decision, because, you know, I'm sure he saw what was going on, and after he read those, I heard in the Chronicle that they showed exactly how, you know, the next day that they wanted it murder, they wanted it to be an injection, they wanted it to be drugs, and supposedly an accident. And I was like, you know, where would they be getting this if it wasn't some fact, you know? And it's really weird. It's so freaky. That is just like, wow.
Regarding your dad, what do you want right now?
I don't know. Just let bygones be bygones and worry about the future. And I don't know. You know, I just got to worry about myself for once and stop, you know, thinking about what happened and just move on.
The breakup from her parents literally happened overnight. She left behind so much of what she had and said that includes two of her most valuable possessions in this world: the Olympic gold medal from Atlanta and the Goodwill Games gold medal which she won last year. Despite repeated attempts, she has been unable to get her mother to return them to her. And if I might, it's a challenge for her parents to finally behave like the adult that their daughter has become and hand over the medals. Well, it's almost time for the second half, and guys, I imagine that one day when whoever it was that came up for the Reese's Cup was sitting there and saying, you know, wouldn't it be fun if, and yeah, it was fun.
Oh, it's been a great deal of fun. John McCriedy really epitomizes what this event is all about. He has the difficulty, he's original, he's creative, showmanship, he's entertaining. I mean, he's really given the judges and the audience and us what we want to see.
And of course, he was the very successful robot guy. Now, meanwhile, what about the high level of gymnastics that we saw?
Well, yeah, we saw a lot of fun, like you said, but we also did see some very high-quality gymnastics. The state of USA Gymnastics, I say, in very, very good condition.
Time for those standings. You've got the Gym Jammers, Chris Waller and Blaine Wilson. They've got it locked up so far. Second place, Cheney Humphrey and Jason Gatson. They're known as the Big Hit. And the Devils, in third place, the very popular Kip Simons and the robot John McCriedy. On the women's side, Amy Chow and Amanda Bordon, the Arizona All-American A's. Tied for first, J.C. Phelps and Vanessa Atler, the Buttercups. In third, Zmeskal and Christy Phillips, the veteran Hershey Kisses. So now, let's see what John McCriedy has cooked up for us here as we move to the second half of the Reese's Cup.
John said he saw the movie Sophie's Choice, and Kevin Kline, the star of that show, did a maestro number like this. Said, I can pull that off.
I want to know if he's going to tumble with those shoes.
Said, I can pull that off, and I can do a double layout on top of it.
And here's the toughest part of this event: attaching the intro elements to the actual gymnastic elements.
Wow.
He's got props scattered all over the mat.
Remember, John's on the comeback trail after surgery on both shoulders back in December of 1997. He's still not back into the full swing of training, but is planning for a huge comeback this year.
How about that move, Tim? What was that in midair?
Pike open, and nobody does it better than John McCriedy. He can get some air, no question about it.
You know what he's doing really well? He's choreographed this routine beautifully right along where the judges are sitting.
He's really, really got to learn to come out of his shell a little bit.
He's playing Deshawn. He knows she's been tough.
Watch this, around the whole floor exercise mat. Side summies in a circle.
Well, if they gave an individual award here, he would get it from me.
No question. I have to concur.
Well, let's see how it works out, because he did play right to the judges. I think actually made direct eye contact with Sean Young. But a good day's work for John McCriedy, contributing to the spirit of this event.
Look at the height on this. Unbelievable.
It's that little extra pelvic thrust in midair that makes it happen.
McCriedy
All right, keep your eye on the right of the screen.
10.
Don't forget it. Keep your eye on the left of the screen. There's 10s everywhere.
And 10.
Sean Young could not be bought.
She's working with her own code of points, Al.
And she's having a good time.
And so is John with this comeback. Hard to believe.
Danny White says she did it.
Hard to believe a few months ago he almost retired. Didn't think his shoulders would let him come back, but they certainly have.
All right, so Sean wasn't with the program, but Kip Simons usually is.
On the floor exercise, it's Kip Simons.
You can kind of see through the black shirt there on his left shoulder. Right after the Olympic Games, Kip Simons had the Olympic rings tattooed to his body. Part of his heart and soul, I guess he wanted an exterior sign as well.
Tim, where's your tattoo?
They didn't invent tattoos back then, Elfie.
You know, Al, you mentioned earlier that that he works on a cruise ship, and he's one of the stars in one of the shows. It's a circus act, and he says that he still performs all his skills. He performs on rings, pommel horse, and trampoline, but really enjoys it, has a great time, is planning to go back for the '99 season.
And Elfie, that step out of bounds that we just saw, that will not cost him any deduction.
You know, guys, just watching Kip work the friendships on the floor in preparation for this event, he's the kind of guy that when the cruise is over, he's standing at the gangplank and everyone on the cruise says, "See you, Kip, thanks a lot." You know, he immediately makes an impact.
No question.
So that's Kip Simons, and I think, to be fair, guys, this team is being carried by John McCriedy. I mean, Kip brings a lot of spirit and stuff, but...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the creativity that went into both his routines. He spent a lot of time choreographing. Look at his outfits. They were perfect for the pieces.
Big scores here, folks.
It's not easy to focus on the Reese's Cup when you're sailing on the Love Boat all the time.
They owe him.
Speaking directly to Sean.
The scores for Kip Simons.
Let's see if it worked this time.
9.9, 9.9, 9.9.
Wow, consistency.
9.8 and 9.8 for an average score of 9.875. And a total team score now of 39.4 for the Devils.
More of the second half in the Reese's Cup after this. Shannon Miller's won more Olympic gymnastic medals than any other American. In support of the Reese's Cup, she's here in Tempe, and why not? She's won this event twice, in 1997 and 1998, with Beth Ruyak.
Thanks, Al. Shannon, everybody's excited to see you here. Of course, the last 2 years you've won this event. You made a different decision this year.
Well, Amy and I had a great time the last couple of years, and of course winning was great. And this year, I haven't actually been in the gym for 6 months. I took some time off to just kind of reevaluate things, and I'm happy to say that I'm back in the gym this week, and hopefully I'll definitely be back next year and before then also.
Why don't you catch people up on some of the rest of the real life things that are happening for you, a lot of the good news?
Well, I have just so many things going on. With my new book coming out last year, I'm still back in school this semester, back in the gym training, as I said. I'm still skating, and most of all, I'm putting together a wedding. I'm getting married in June.
Congratulations. You're back in the gym training, and so that leads to the obvious question, what are you looking for this year, and more importantly in 2000? What do you want?
For this year, I want to mainly get back in shape, get all my basics down, and start learning some new skills. At the end of the year, that's when I'll think about, real competition. I'd like to keep doing some professional competitions as well as the tours. And then if all the events come, then, back into competition wouldn't be bad. I'd really enjoy that too.
I know for a lot of your teammates and a lot of the gymnasts, having you here is important because you've stayed real close to them. You've still stayed like a big sister.
Absolutely. These people are my best friends. I've grown up with them, and we've had so many great moments together, and we still talk on the phone and talk by email, and it's really great that we can all get together and see each other again.
Okay, there they are out there in TV land, all your fans. Shannon Miller, back to you, Al.
All right, Beth, everybody in gymnastics is getting married. All right, here's Christy Phillips.
And
Let's see what she's got cooked up this time.
Please welcome Christy Phillips.
Ooh.
been rumored, Al, that there are actually 2 left boots right there. A little shocking that she's got 2 pairs of these.
Strikes me, Elfie, this would be a great routine to use in, say, the Olympics.
Well, not with those pink boots. That would be a little tough. Start walking. This was, in her time, this was her event, I must say. The mount is very tough. Her opening, this is high difficulty right here. She also has a trademark move that she performs on the beam.
Why wouldn't she do the mount with the boots on, Elfie?
I know, really.
But watch this. This is amazing. Round up, back, layout, step out.
Perfect. You look back at Christy's bio, in particular the international credits, and the last one would be 1987 World Championships. A long time ago.
Telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, watch that sound. Everybody look what's going down.
Was that a very nifty cover up there?
Yes, I was going to say she covered up. Very well choreographed fall. You are allowed at this event to dismount and remount the beam. It's not a 5/10 deduction, but Tim and I both know that was a fall.
And Elfie, this is actually a trademark move right there from Christy Phillips.
Okay, that's the first half of the veteran team, Christy Phillips and Kim Zmeskal. Told you the story before about her very romantic proposal. I said it was a very romantic proposal.
9.8, 9.8, 9.7.
Here are the scores.
9.8, 9.7, and 9.8.
Sean Young and Joan Van Ark actually agreed. A landmark decision. Kim's on the floor.
Kim had a really easy time selecting this piece of music. It's entitled Can't Hurry Love by Diana Ross and the Supremes, and it's about the path that she's taken in life and how she finally met her special love.
I need love to ease my mind. I need to find someone to call mine. But Mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take.
She rocked the landing.
No, you just have to wait. You gotta trust, give it time. No matter how long it takes, but how many heartaches must I stand before I find the love to let
One thing you cannot take away from Kim Zmeskal is her tumbling ability. She had it back in '91, and she still has it.
feel my strength. Yeah, it's almost gone. I remember Mama said, no, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take. How long must I wait? How much more can I take before loneliness will cause my heart to break? No, I can't bear to live my life alone. I grow impatient for a love to call my own. But when I feel
One of the things Kim has said has been a little frustrating is everybody has all these expectations for her. She says she's out on the floor. She loves gymnastics. She just still wants to do gymnastics.
you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take.
Uh-oh.
Can't hurry love. No, you just
This would probably be the most expensive prop in the competition.
time. No matter how long it takes.
She's pretty happy.
Yeah, finally gets to wear that thing. She told me she was so excited over the holidays. She said she finally got to wear the ring.
Love you, Chris.
That would be Chris Burdett.
Come on!
Still loves the sport so much, she actually said that when she's done, She hopes to open a gym with Chris. Coach her own little gymnast.
The scores for Kim Zmeskal.
Kim and Christy working the crowd.
9.9.
Avery liked it.
10.
So did Joan Van Aert. Danny White.
9.9.
Sean Young at 10.
Average score of 9.975.
And they are jubilant over a score of 9.975.
And a total team score of 30.
Still to come, Jason Gatson, Cheney Humphrey, and more of the Reese's Cup. The 1999 Reese's Cup continues in Tempe, Arizona. I'm Al Troutwig along with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett, who never came close to winning this event.
Been a sore spot for me for years.
Well, get over it. Now, here's Jason Gatson, looking a little like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Let's see where this goes.
Please welcome Jason Gatson.
This is a bit of a stretch, actually. I can't believe Jason's got to get up like this.
And I'll tell you, this guy, he does some big-time gymnastics on high bar. Last year won the Nationals on this event. Was the youngest U.S. member to ever make a World Championship team.
And he wants to give Blaine Wilson a run for his money this year. He says, Blaine's the one I'm after.
That's a really nice release coming up. Right here, get a little speed.
Right on.
How good is he, Tim?
Well, he is really good, Al. And I'm not just talking about in this country. He should be a huge factor at the Olympic Games. He's that talented. Big dismount, double twisting, double somersault. A lot of spotlights out there. Big step forward, very uncharacteristic for Jason.
But let's give him a break. He's never been part of this type of event before.
Yeah, first time in this type of form for Jason.
You know, performing to music and all like that.
And, you know, it may seem like a very small prop, obviously, this headband, but, you know, when you're swinging around the bar and you're going to do a release like this, the smallest thing, I'm really amazed
These
it doesn't bother him.
Jason Gatson, 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8, and 9.9. It's an average score of 9.875 for Jason.
No real reaction from Jason. Now it's time for Cheney Humphrey.
I never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Cheney, very theatrical. You can see why he is two-time Reese's Cup champ. Got the gymnastics to back it up as well.
He was teamed up with Chris Waller both those years. Al, you had mentioned his busy schedule, and he's actually talking about trying to come back for the Sydney Olympics. I really don't know when he's going to find time to train.
I don't know when he had time to come up with this Star Wars lightsaber routine, but he did.
Cheney is from a very gymnastics family. His brother Greg was also on the team at UCLA.
Oh, you see right there, they don't make lightsabers like they used to. Not only does this guy have the schedule cooking, he's also in the process of writing 2 books. One's about his life in gymnastics, part of that being an African American in the sport, of which there aren't very many, and the other is a big secret.
This is the finale. The big Star Wars conclusion right here.
The scores for Cheney, 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, 9.8.
On our computerized printout, I can see this will tie this team with Kip Simons and John McCriedy.
And a total
As we continue in Tempe, it's time for the Buttercups again.
I can't get enough of you, baby. I can't get enough of you, baby. Yes, it's true.
More of the Reese's Cup near the desert in Arizona.
Moving to the Buttercups.
Trying to catch Christy Phillips and Kim Zmeskal are Vanessa Atler, and right now her partner, JC Phelps.
This is to Pink Floyd's Learning to Fly.
You know, we mentioned that JC's living out here. She actually coaches at a club she once trained at, the Desert Devils. Has some different aspirations for the future, however. She said, yeah, I like coaching, but maybe I'll go to cosmetology school and open up a day spa.
I'll be there.
I've got the name, Magnificent Heaven.
Something that a lot of people may not know about JC is she has the distinction of winning a world or Olympic team medal in each year she's been on Team USA. That would be 94, 95, and of course the Olympic gold medal in 1996.
You know, Elf, she really had a bit of an abbreviated career. Didn't have the opportunity to enjoy her at the highest level of competition for that long, but she certainly was wonderful when she was there. The 1996 Olympic Games, of course, being her last major international competition.
And that's because her knee got so bad.
Definitely, she would have had a brilliant career, even beyond the successes that she had.
She could have gone on. No question. Enjoying life in Arizona, looking forward to going to school in the fall. She's a new homeowner. Lots of exciting things happening to her.
Well, at whatever level you thought it was, it's just a medical miracle, as we mentioned before, that she had this cartilage replacement surgery on her one knee. So that's the start for the Buttercups. JC Phelps and her teammate Vanessa Atler. Now the scores for JC Phelps.
9.9, 9.9, 9.8. 9.9, 10, and 9.9 for an average score of 9.9.
Sean Young now suddenly handing out some 10s. He's come full circle.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for part two of the Buttercups, get ready for a sweet routine by Vanessa Atler.
Get ready for a sweet routine.
Vanessa's first pass in this exercise, still relatively new for her, and one of the best in the world. Unbelievable. She'll do a double laid out somersault, change direction, and do a punch front. Here we go. Oh!
That wowed everybody.
You know what, I see that, and I gotta tell you, the first thing that comes to my mind is you just shouldn't even be able to do that. That is amazing.
I think of when I see a move like that. There is that day when you've never even thought of doing it, and you try to get to it, and the exploration that you have to go through to get it to that point, it's remarkable.
That was back in our days.
You may have seen something laying on the floor. That'll come into play shortly.
She tells us in her diary she finally is learning how to perform at events like this, have a little bit more fun.
She's going into this year with a whole new confidence level. That's been important.
From Canyon Country, California, Vanessa Atler.
And I tell you, these next couple of years, you're going to see a lot and hear a lot more from this young lady.
You know, Tim, you mentioned that first tumbling run and how unbelievable it is. It really does take your breath away. Look at the height she gets in this double layout.
Shot out of a cannon, then just, wow.
She has too much.
It's amazing.
The scores for Vanessa: 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 10, and 9.9. For an average
Sean
score
Young's
of
easy now.
9.9 and
Perfect 10 for Vanessa Atler. And they take the lead with that combined team score. More from Tempe after this. Sobering interview earlier with Dominique Moceanu, but the smiles here tell you she's moving on to the rest of her life. Meanwhile, earlier in the Reese's Cup, they held the rhythmic gymnastics competition. The best team, that of Natalie LaCuesta and Jessica Davis. Over the past 4 or 5 years, the obvious best rhythmic gymnasts we have in this country.
And Natalie is still in competition. She's gunning for the 2000 Olympics, whereas her teammate at this event, Jessica Davis, was a 96 Olympian. Natalie actually took the reins from Jessica. Jessica was a 2-time national champion. Natalie is the current national champion. Jessica just enjoying professional gymnastics these days.
Now back to the regular gymnastics. Here's Chris
now,
Waller.
ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Gym Jammers. Please welcome the tragically hip Chris Waller.
And now remember that ultimately this is a gymnastics competition, a lot of showmanship, but these athletes want to win. And Chris Waller, having won the last 2 along with teammate Blaine Wilson, they want the title.
Eventually, he has to make his way up on that high bar.
You would think. Now, as I said before, this is like your local talent show. Some of it works and some of it doesn't.
But Chris can do gymnastics. This is really nice. All on one arm. Watch this. Gotta let go of the bar. Gotta fly.
It's becoming his trademark move in professional gymnastics.
Two flips, 2 twists.
All right, now we'll see if the judges can figure this out.
I want to know what 31 stands for.
The costume.
Well, check out these releases right here. This was definitely entertaining. 2 in a row, and this one's planned here. Yow. But that actually happens a lot in the gym by accident.
The scores for Chris Waller.
Come on now.
10,
Yeah.
9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 10, and 9.9 for an average score of 9.925.
A benevolent offering from the judges. Now it's up to Blaine Wilson. Tim, what does he need
And
here
now,
for the
ladies and
team to take the
gentlemen,
lead?
it's time
A little bit better
for
than a
Blaine
9.775 for the win.
That should be easy for him. Now, there's some collusion here. The music that he is going to perform to is actually a recording that was done by the young judge over there, the hot new recording star, Maya.
Yeah, she might as well give her score now.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of investigation.
That's Ron Brandt, one of the coaches for Team USA. Both he and Blaine Wilson were talking to me, guys, about Tianjin, China, where the World Championships are going to be this year, and how bad the pollution is, and how everybody got sick from the food last time they were in. They're trying to figure out how to overcome all those things.
Very, very unfavorable.
Look at that.
It's remarkable, Al, that he is in this type of condition. Still rings that requires the most strength. Blaine appears to have no problems at all.
Makes it look so easy.
And look at that. Had a lot of fun here today, but that was big-time gymnastics.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing the song by
Maya's music.
Blaine Wilson.
Tell you, Chris is happy he's his partner.
Yeah. Look at the strength that's required here.
Yeah.
Once again, after that surgery on his shoulder, and all of these strength parts, the way you're holding your body up is with your shoulder. That's remarkable.
The scores for Blaine Wilson. 10.
Oh, boy.
10.
He's going in a perfect direction.
9.9.
This is going to be
10
for Maya.
And a perfect 10
you
by
are
Maya.
right, Elfie.
That's an average score.
Maya comes through for Blaine Wilson, and he for her. They have won the 1999 Reese's Cup, and for Chris Waller, it's a third straight. The women's final when we come back.
NBC's Sports World is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Remember, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
There is the leadership of the Reese's Cup. Vanessa Atler and J.C. Phelps currently in first place. One team to go. It's Amanda Bordon and Amy Chow, both on the floor.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Arizona All-American A's. On the floor exercise, please welcome Amanda Bordon.
Now, we've let Tim Daggett handle the calculator here today.
Which is a scary thought, but this team actually needs 19.8 to take the lead to move ahead of Atler.
That's a pretty hefty score.
Can I mention hats have been very popular today?
Yes, you can, Elfie.
Amanda told me this is an MJ medley, and she said, I only steal a few of his moves.
Could be the last time you ever see Amanda Bordon perform. She's up in the air about the future, as she told us earlier. See how Vanessa and JC's lead holds up.
The scores for Amanda Bordon, 9.9, 9.9, 9.7, 10, 9.8, and 9.9 for an average score of 9.875.
I don't know what score was right, but 10 was overboard, okay?
Yeah, this could be a little bit close here.
Competitor at the floor exercise. Please welcome Amy Chow.
Now remember when you watch Amy that this is an athlete that is training currently once a week.
At Stanford.
Freeze frame!
My math teacher will be proud of me. I figured this out without my calculator. Amy Chow needs better than a 9925 to move into the lead.
You know, Amy must be one of those people that can do just about anything in a hurry. You know, you hand her a Rubik's Cube and she solves it in 2 minutes.
It's amazing. This gymnastics is unbelievable. Watch this tumbling pass. Triple twist. No problem.
Once a week.
Yeah, one of the core fundamentals of the sport of gymnastics is do really, really hard things, make them look beautiful, but also make it look easy. And just about nobody does that better than Amy Chow.
Still thinking about a comeback. She said there are still some concerns that are up in the air, trying to work those details out with her current coach.
A cute ending for Amy Chow. I don't know. With that high number that Amanda Bordon got, this could be a championship performance right there. Vanessa and JC have first place, as we said. Now it's in the judges' hands.
Amy already has 2 in her pocket.
I wonder what that photo is going to look like when it gets developed.
That too, yeah. All right, here we
The
go.
scores for Amy Chow, 9.9, 9.9, 9.9, 10, 10, and 10.
Well, that'll do it. A 9.95 for Amy Chow. That's going to win the 1999 Reese's Cup. Amanda Bordon and Amy Chow on the last performance of the day. Their total of 39,425, just .025 better than Phelps and Atler. So it was extremely close. And Wilson and Waller win by .2, 39.65. Let's go down to Beth Ruyak.
I think third time is the charm. Isn't that right, Amy? Well, 3 times in a row.
We just went out there and played to the crowd and had fun.
I can't wait to see when that picture's developed who you actually got out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. I was just aiming anywhere. But
I think hands down, you had the most fun of everybody tonight. Did you have a good time, Amanda?
I always have fun, and to be here in my hometown now, Arizona, I just really had a good time, and it's my first time winning the Reese's Cup, so I have to say I'm really excited.
A good team here and a good team right here in Arizona, too. A little bit of the fight song goes a long way, right?
That's right. I wanted to support the team and let everybody know that I go to ASU now.
You go to ASU now. Is this your last meet, Amanda?
I'm not sure yet. As of right now, I'm going to take a break. I know that I said earlier I was going to retire, but I really love gymnastics. My body is a little sore right now, but as long as I love it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Congratulations. Thanks, team.
All right, Beth, it's an NBA special time to play coming up next on NBC. For Beth Ruyak, Elfie Schlegel, Tim Daggett, I'm Al Troutwig. Goodbye from Tempe, Arizona, and the 1999 Reese's Gymnastics Cup.